I understand, members, this is a split call within the Green Party, and I call Catherine Delahunty.
Tēnā koe, Mr Speaker, kia ora tātou katoa. Having listened to the government benches speaking about the state of the nation, I'd just like to quote what has inspired me by Lewis Carroll. "'Twas brillig and the slithy toves did gyre and gimble in the wabe, all mimsy were the borogoves and the mome raths outgrabe." And that sums up the government's relationship with the rest of us very nicely. It's pretty brillig around here, and they are, interestingly, slithy toves. I would like to refer to something pretty slithy, which is the state of our water. It's actually no good talking about the economy without facing up to water. And in the Prime Minister's statement, he talked briefly about the issue of fresh water, which is sadly becoming a misnomer. Less and less fresh water exists in a number of places across Aotearoa, New Zealand. And this is not assisted by the government's national statement for freshwater quality, which is as leaky as a sieve, and a very dirty sieve at that. This summer we've seen toxic algae blooms, excessive nitrogen causing all kinds of biological effects, pathogens that can make people and animals quite sick, and sediments choking the macroinvertebrates, plus the horrifying statistic from last year, which hasn't improved, that 2/3 of our monitored swimming spots are now too polluted to swim in. And I followed this summer. I went on to the Lawa website on a regular basis, and I checked catchment after catchment, trying to find places where the information showed it was safe to swim, and it wasn't there. So it's a very sad state of affairs when people want to take their kids down to the river. Now, I'm fortunate, I live beside a river, and I go down to my local river and I see the kids swimming, because our local river, unlike so many, has clear translucent water, basking tuna, torrent fish and kōkupu, the scent of clean water and the pure reflected light in the water column, beauty and energy, not washing out to sea as wasted water, as our Prime Minister once so charmingly expressed it, because showing his usual strong grasp of ecology as a basis for any economy, he said that all this water was just flowing away and it was being wasted. My river, and hopefully other people's, are not all dammed, not all sucked up for irrigation, and not all full of pollution from the 6 million cows that we have and more in terms of density in this country. So we're looking at the most precious resource we've got, the most sacred relationships we have with the awa, with the water, and a weak political framework, weak and random. Low standards are being entrenched, and the many good recommendations, I think about 158, of the Land and Water Forum, many of those recommendations are being ignored. Mr Speaker, it's about the Treaty of Waitangi as well. We are here to protect taonga, and the relationship of mana whenua hapu to the awa should be upheld by all of us, both in terms of rangatiratanga and kaitiakitanga. But instead we have a government that is promoting the threatening of the viability of our rivers. And so the Crown irrigators were at the State Committee this week talking about crowns and irrigation, and it was difficult to explain to them that actually there are a lot of other stakeholders involved in this. It's not just about using rivers for a very narrow definition of what is effective farming. We are threatening the viability of rivers. We are facing climate change. We need to accept that the drought is here now, and it could get worse for many a year. We need strong national statements for fresh water based on the scientific evidence produced by the actual scientists. Rivers need far greater protection. The Green Party wants to see robust water standards, rivers protected, negotiation with hapu, national environmental standards that look after water and flows, and there's a lot of work to be done. There are still ugly sources like tarawera, the point sources of pollution, and sewage, which rely on discharges of semi-treated or treated water to rivers. Man, Mr Speaker, can get to the moon, but we cannot manage our waste without contaminating the water. We have to stop the intensification of agriculture. It doesn't matter whether you fence every creek, and I'm all for it, or plant a tree on every waterway, I'm all for it. But it won't stop those 6 million cows leaching their urine into waterways via the earth. It's not a simple matter of fencing. The other day I spent a day in Northland with Milan Ruka, and I went on the Environmental River Patrol. And he, unlike the government and indeed many regional councils, is standing up and threatening people that they need to clean up water. And that he encourages them, and then he threatens them, and sometimes they do it. But the government is not doing it, and we're about to lose some of our most precious resources.
I call Julian Ginter.
Tēnā koe, Mr. Speaker. Tēnā koutou e te whare.